What's up, guys? Travis here. Hey, I haven't posted in a couple weeks. Kind of knocked me off my plans because I've had the flu and it sucks, but just getting over it. It's a nice sunny day here in Dallas, Texas. I'm ready to clean up the LC. Kind of getting closer to getting my rims put on. But otherwise, let's get this girl cleaned up. After being sick, I'm already out of breath. That's better. What is this? That right there. Is that soap? Oh, it's my shirt. Like, what the heck is that? Anyways, it's my shirt reflection. Anyways, where was I? Yes, welcome back. As you saw from the last video, I know it's been about a couple of weeks now, and I'm just getting over the flu, so I probably still sound nasally, and it sucks, but I'm feeling much, much better today. And I woke up. We have a nice sunny day in Dallas, so you just saw, had to jump out, wash the car, and we're gonna go for a quick little cruise. And I want to address on the channel, why did I get this car? Why the LC500? It's just something I wanted to talk about this car because I love this car. Like, seriously, like, this car is, I can't believe that I could pick up a car like this. And full disclosure, right? So I paid, this is a 2018 Lexus LC500. I bought it for, $64,000 with really low miles. I had 26,000 miles on it. And, before I bought this car, I was looking at every option. My number one car that I wanted really bad was a GTR. I really wanted a GTR. And I just, no matter how I looked, the only thing that I could really possibly get was like a 2009 and maybe a 2009, 2010, high miles, probably already beat the what, and I'm not going to spend that kind of money to deal with somebody else's problems. People buying older GTRs, they bring them in, and they just, all these different shops that are working on them have these guys, some of them just have no business working on GTRs, and so I didn't want to deal with that. And in all reality, I couldn't afford a $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 car. So my next car that I had in mind was a BMW M4. I love M4s, not the G80. This is the previous. And I was looking around. I came across some that I liked that was in my price range. But again, I'm a little weary about, BMWs, right? So everybody I know who has a BMW, they spend more time in the shop than they do driving them around. And I understand having a BMW. If you're buying it new, you have the warranty, it's taken care of. That's why there's so many BMWs on the market, is that when the warranties go out or the leases are out, they're, the market's flooded with BMWs. But they're just, they're very expensive to work on. The maintenance after, it's a high performance car. Any high performance car is not necessarily the most reliable after a certain time. And then you gotta, do a lot of, and I don't know. I was like, I don't know if I want to go through that because I'm looking for a daily driver. I want a really nice, fun, daily driver that I could build upon. But I want it to be reliable. I don't want to deal with a car that's got to be in the shop or, as soon as I get the car and pay $60,000 for it or 50 or whatever, and then I got to, take it to the shop and get another, drop 10,000 just to get it fixed, or I don't want to do that. So while I was looking at the BMWs, I started, I've always liked the LCs. They've always caught my eye. And the thing about the LC that I really like is that you don't see many of them on the road. And that really goes back also to any car I've ever had, from me being a car nut from day one, and that's all stems from my dad, the way I grew up. My dad's been a car guy. Me, like my very first car, I had to give you a little quick backstory. My very first car, or I'll say it's a truck. I was in, it was in 1993. Shows you how old I am. And I got a Nissan hardbody mini truck from a police auction. And it was green, and it had a pink wave around it, and it said Radical Dude on the back. It had Bart Simpson airbrushed on it. And I loved it. I mean, it was something. I mean, it was completely unique. It was the mini truck days. And I customized. I put, the big system in it, 4 15-inch woofers and Hyphonics amps and all this stuff. Part of a car club, and I loved it. And then I went from that. Had that for about a couple years. Actually, when it was green, I ended up getting it. It got keyed up really bad, so we painted it, or I had it painted peach with red pearl, and it was so pretty. And had everything shaved on it. Used to enter it in truck show, autoramas and stuff like that. And when it was time to let that truck go, that was when, no, I take it back. So when I sold that truck, I got a graduation present, which was a 93 Mustang GT. And that was back when the Mustang phase was really big. Coming from, where I was at, this was mid 90s. This is like 94, 95, 96. And then it was I had the last year of the Fox body style Mustang. Beautiful red. I wish I had pictures. I don't even have pictures of it anymore. But, I love that car. It was awesome. It was, fast for what it was. And then from there, that's when the import phase started to really kick off. And then, so the Mustang got stolen. And then when I went to go get another car with the insurance, I ended up buying a Honda Del Sol. And I liked the Del Sol because over the Civics and, CRXs and such, because you just didn't see many of those on the road as you did a lot of the other cars, the Hondas. So when I got the Del Sol, I got a green one, specifically green, because, again, it was like you didn't see many green ones. I always just wanted to be different, I don't want to blend in. So when I got the green Del Sol, fixed it up, that's back when I first hooked up with Kenny and Joe Tech and, Tony Paulo and all those guys. So we put a GSR motor swap in it. So it was all motor, but great car. It was fun. Put a body kit, all full bolt-ons and stuff, lowered, big wings, that's just what you did back in those days. So I love that car, and then ended up selling that, and then I got one of the very first Lexus IS300s that came to Dallas, and it was yellow. And again, it was like, man, I loved it because of how the Alteza taillights, it was unique at the time. Loved that car, and I had that for a couple years, and we sold it. And I don't know what I was thinking, but I ended up getting back into a Del Sol again. And then I got a yellow Del Sol that had a GSR motor, turbo, of course, full body kit and everything. I mean, it was a beautiful car. Loved it, but I kind of had a little, it kind of gave me some issues once in a while. It was fast, being turbo and the blow-off valves. It was just fun to drive. But so I ended up selling that, and then I finally kind of grew back up a little bit, and then I got a black 350Z, and there it was like so black. I had that burnt orange red interior, and we put 20-inch wheels on it, lowered, so it just looked really nice. All right, the performance was like, I really cared about performance at that moment. I just want a car that just drove nice, it looked nice, and and that was it. And I love that car, man. I love that 350. But I ended up selling that because my wife and I, at the time, got married, and then she got pregnant, and then we were having our first child. And then from the day that we had our first child, the 350 was gone because it was only a two-seater. And then I ended up driving an SUV. And from that moment on, it was me driving an SUV or a truck. And the last truck I had was a 2017 Ford Raptor. And I loved that truck. I mean, I really did. I loved it. But after I sold my M-Grills business, the brand, I no longer necessarily needed a truck, which I'll be in another video. We'll talk about kind of the whole M-Grill stuff, the barbecue realm. But I didn't need a truck after that. So I ended up like, okay, now I can go back to driving a car. Kids are grown up now, and all right. And then that's when, you know, oh, I've been wanting a GTR for so bad for years, but you know, you know, my window to buy a GTR, because of the way the prices have just gone through the roof, you know, I feel like that window now is kind of shut on me. But it's all good, you know. It's like I got friends with GTRs, I could admire their cars, and then again, so fast forward, that takes me back to buying the LC500. So my plans with this car, I want to one day, okay, my dream with this car is to Liberty Walk this car. I love wide body cars. I would love to Liberty Walk, get this car, I mean, just looking so mean. But in the meantime, my goals, you saw in the last video, I just got wheels for this car. And I need to get tires. I'm still shopping around. I want to get the best deal on tires. All right, because I'm not a rich guy. I need to find the best deal I could get on tires, because at the same time, when I get the tires, we're going to lower this car. And I'm going to do the RSR springs right now. And we're going to see how that sits, and then kind of go from there, see what's next. I want to do a chrome delete, because I want to get this LC looking as sporty as possible. Okay, I'm not really going the luxury route with it. I want this car looking very sporty. So let's go back to the LC. Of all the cars I was talking about, I settled with the LC, and mainly it's because A, you don't see many of them on the road, and I love it. They only make, you know, or they only sell barely less than 2,000 of these a year. So you don't see, they came out 2017, but I think they really didn't hit the market until like 2018 to be like, you know, where you start seeing them around. And if you know anything about Japanese cars, you know, and Lexus cars, they are built rock solid. My Lexus IS300 I had was probably of all the cars I've had in the past, was like the nicest car I've ever had. And this car is, when you go through and you just look at all the details, the craftsmanship of how well it's built, it is just, I mean, so meticulous. And I love that about cars, right? So, you know, my dad, he's got before I bought this car, I was driving it's a C7 Z06. And I mean, yeah, that car is fun to drive. It's a beautiful, I love C7s more than C8s. I don't care for the C8s that much, even though they are rear engine and, you know, they sound great. And but I don't like the body style of the C8s. I like the C7s better. So driving the C7 around, that car just sounds good. It's fun to drive. You just get on it and go. But even that car, it's got a lot of squeaks and creaks, and you know, it's kind of, even for what it is it feels like it's dated. This car that's a 2018 is like, man, like, you know, they talk about the infotainment system being kind of crappy in here. I think it's great. I don't have an issue with the infotainment system at all. Now this car is 470 something horsepower. Definitely not the fastest, but to me, it's definitely quick enough. When you get a car like this, especially at my age, right? So I'm like 48 years old. I'm not going out looking to street race. You know, I might go out, you know, go on the highway and, you know, open the legs up a little bit. That makes sense. Spread the legs, open the legs. But, you know, get on the highway and just have fun. Put it in sport mode. You know, it's got a V8 naturally aspirated. It sounds amazing, which we will do the exhaust on here to open that up and get this car sounding really, really rough. But when you do drive this car around, I mean, you know, you hear all the naysayers like, oh, this car is like feels heavy, and it's a heavy car. It is a heavy car, but it's, you know, it don't feel like a heavy car. Now, if you maybe take it on a track and you're going on some windy, you know, curves and stuff at high speeds, then yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a heavy car like that. But if you're just driving this thing around and cruising and having fun with it, man, it don't feel heavy at all. So other than that, what else about this car? Let me flip this camera around. There's a C6. So when you're driving on this car, right, so I'm just in automatic mode. If I want to go into paddle shifters, I'm going to go down here, put it in manual. Now I can paddle shift. I can get on a little bit. But everything, like, if you look around this car, I mean, there's like no plastic really anywhere. It's all leather, Alcantara. The feel, I mean, it's so quiet. There's nothing in here that's just like squeaking and rattling. And I mean, when you're driving it, you sit in it kind of low. So even like up to your shoulders, it's like you just feel like you sit low in a cockpit, which I like. So it feels like you're in something special. Like, you know, I'm not driving like an Accord or something, or, you know, like you just sit, you sit in the seats, very nice. Steering wheel feels great. So this has this two-tone interior. It's got the it's kind of almost like a wine red color, and at first I wasn't very fond of that. You know, you can get this in a full, it's like a caramel and all black, and in this tone. And the Inspiration series have like white and blue, which I don't want white interior, even though I love, like on Teslas, the white interior looks so nice. But nah, I'm too worried about it getting all nasty. This car is dirty. My interior is dirty. I just washed the exterior. I do need to clean the interior, but hey, it is what it is. When you do drive this car around, you do get quite a few looks, which is nice. I've been stopped a few times. People asking me what model this is, or what kind of car this is, because when I got this car, it did not have the LC500 badges on it. So it's just, you know, it's a little bit. People question what kind of Lexus this is. And I think I've had this car for maybe 6 months now. No, probably not even that long. 5 months. And I have not, I think I've only ran into maybe 2 or 3 LC500s on the road since I've owned this car, which is, to me, I love it. When you go to Cars and Coffee or anything like that, there's like no LC500s. I mean, you might see one, and that's it. I love the looks of it. You know, when they say, yeah, it looks like a, you know, it almost does like a spaceship. It's very, you know, the body lines are so smooth. As myself as an artist, that's what I like. I really get in and I look at body lines and like what's the car, you know, how's it flow? And I love the hips. It's got a great shape, the way it just flares out at the end. So I'm not a huge fan of these cars when they're just bone stock though. So that's why I can't wait to get the wheels on and get it lowered, because that's gonna just immediately make this car look so much meaner than what it is. I mean, right off the bat, I mean, it's just like there's not too many factory cars that look great from the factory with stock wheels and stock height. And once you change that, that's when I think this car just really just comes together. So of course, so that's priority. That's number one. And then, you know, well, then from there, you know, I don't know, the next thing will be maybe exhaust. I gotta do a chrome delete, which I think I'm gonna actually attempt to do it myself. You know, I like doing crafty stuff like this, so I think I can do it. I'm gonna give it a shot. And if I don't, well, we'll just take it off. It's just wrap. Then maybe we'll go get it painted or something. But or have it done professionally. But I'm gonna try to do the chrome delete myself. There's a C706. That one looks good too. So he has some wheels on it lowered. I guess now we're kind of driving around doing some car spotting. Pull over here, kind of just loop around. That's about it for now, guys. Till next time. Later.